Hello, everybody. Russell Hill, co-founder and managing partner of FixedOPS Marketing. But today we're talking about WTF, and that is what the fixed ops. I'm your host for WTF, and I'm joined today as well by...
Before I introduce our guest today, I need to do a quick shout out to our sponsor, WYNN'S. With over 80 years of experience in innovation, WYNN'S leads the industry with product and system innovations that drive vehicle performance and longevity. So people who love cars love WYNN'S. Check them out. There's a link in the description below. Now, to introduce our guest, we have Mario Clementoni. He is the dealership management consultant at NADA. Mario, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah. Well, tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yes. Who are you?
Oh, who are I? All right. Let me see. So I've been in this business for, let's just say it has a 5 in front of it. So we won't talk about anything other than that. But I started off at a car dealership and in the fixed ops side. And I went through all the seats fixed, parts manager, service manager, what have you. And then I sat in the other seats, F&I and new car, used car, those things. I was able to buy into a dealership back in the early 90s. Most of my experience was with Ford, and we had several Ford dealerships. I've always really enjoyed the fixed ops part of it because I figure that is your recession breaker for us. You know, cars sales come and go, as we all know. Excuse me, but if you have a strong, I don't call it the back end, I call it the backbone of the organization.
Amen.
So anyway, I sold my stores back in the early or late 2009 when all the crash happened and Mercury went away. And then I did a few other stores, but I wound up doing a stint now, almost 11 years with National Auto Dealers Association, where we go around and we help our members, help our dealers in 20 group to get better processes, to improve their bottom line, to improve their profitability. We have approximately 4,000 members in 20 group right now. And we also do in-dealer consulting. Obviously NADA is very big with Academy and all the pieces and nuances of the car business. So I am blessed to be able to go out and share what I've learned over many years, and always learning new things as well. And it's just very rewarding to see these dealers grow and their processes change, and to see new things come into the market, like fixed ops marketing, which is really, exciting.
Yeah, I got to tell you, now, sometimes we have people on here we don't really know that well, even though, I know people who know them real well, those types of things, 6 degrees of separation, all that fundamental stuff.
Right.
But I'm a LinkedIn guy. And so a very good friend of mine, Bruce Glasscock, introduced me and got me invited. This is where I met Mario, and 3 years and 4 months ago, but who's counting, right? This is where I met Mario. I was invited to a NADA 20 group session in Houston, Texas, a month before COVID hit, and is where I met him. And it was fascinating because I've never actually been inside of a 20 group meeting and what was involved, but it was very enlightening. And I got an opportunity to talk a little bit about what we did and I had to be really careful. And Mario helped me sidestep some potential landmines because nobody was really, and even to this day, nobody really even does what we do. So it was kind of an anomaly because you can't really pitch stuff at an NADA 20 group. It's more, sharing information and best practices and what the numbers are. And sometimes it gets pretty ugly, doesn't it, Mario?
Yeah, it does. It does. When we're not there. We're there to educate. NADA, as a rule, does not promote any one business. We do recommend when we find something that's very worthwhile. And we do recommend. We can't promote because, once again, we are owned by the dealers. We are the dealers association. So so it's very careful in those meetings not to make it a sales pitch and make it something that the dealer can walk out of that meeting with an actionable item that they can take back to the store and actually see results.
Yeah, that was great. And other than just meeting him, I actually developed a relationship with him and his lovely wife, Donna, that we've built over the last 3 years and 4 months, kept in touch and see him at NADA and occasionally communicate here and there. But he's become a tremendous, what I think, a friend and confidant. I've learned a lot from him because I, like most general managers, grew up on the variable side. And the fixed side, even though I knew enough about it, I've learned so much from listening to him and 20 groups and people in all the different rooms I'm in about fixed operations. So I wanted to thank you, Mario, for your relationship, because it's really important to me. It's really important to us. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on WTF, because the short time we have, we can't really cover everything. But I would like to ask you, and we were talking about it right before the show started, because we think it's really important to have a human side, not just what you do and the mechanics of it. And if you're willing to share something, fine. If not, but was there ever a time in your life that you can recall? I don't even know if anybody's asked you this ever, or at least not in a long time. Is there any defining moments, crossroads, or points in your life where you said, hey, man, I got to stop that crap and I got to do something different with my life? And I mean, how did you get into automotive? How did you become a dealer principal and et cetera? How did all that start?
Well, it's a short story, but it's a story. I was engaged to be married. I was going to college. I worked at a Ford dealership as a stock clerk when I was in high school, and I went to University of Maryland. My wife and I got married very young, and she immediately got pregnant. So I had to go make a living. And I had met a lot of people, good people in the car business. And I also played music at night. So I wanted to I had to make a career move. And I knew that whatever move I made, that I was going to stick with that and make the best out of it. So I knew the car business, or from the parts part. So I went to work there full time, and I quickly moved through all the paces, as I said. But that was a defining moment for me, because I hadn't been thinking about the car business as a career. I thought of it as just a part-time job to, pay for gas in the car and what have you. But I learned very quickly that it's a very skilled labor set.
Indeed.
And that the opportunities to grow. My father worked down Bethlehem Steel. He hadn't, we lived in a very modest area and whatever. So I didn't have somebody that could go buy a dealership for me. So I had to create that. And I think the biggest lesson I learned was, if you want to do something, such as you want to become a manager of a department, you have to act like it, and you have to do as much of those duties as you can before there's an opening for that. And then you're just a natural fit. So I've always been, let me work and I'll get paid later, not pay me and then I'll work. So that was my philosophy, and I kept that for many, many years, and knock on wood, have been very successful and raise my family and whatever. So it's all been good.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how it gets into your blood. I remember, and the business that we're in, is responsible for a lot of jobs, a lot of careers, a lot of money being made. And I don't think people really think, unless the numbers have changed. So I'll give you an example. For every $50,000 a year salary, 11 service related jobs are created as a result from fast food, dry cleaners, car washes, etc.
Oh yeah.
And, and of course, people in automotive make a lot more than that. So I remember I started, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And I started selling cars in 1985. And after about 3 months, I had a wonderful mentor. His name is Mike Biggers, recently retired, like in the last couple of years. But he took me under his wing, and I realized for the first time in my life, after about 90 days, that this isn't just a stopping point waiting for the next thing to come along. This is a profession, a skilled profession, okay, of building relationships and, bridging those gaps and genuinely, helping people realize their dreams, wants, and desires. An automobile does those types of things, and it's just amazing. But you went from the front end to the back end, or from the variable side to the fixed side, etc. So what was it about the
No, I went from the fixed side to the variable side.
Okay.
I
Please
started.
forgive me, folks. I got it wrong. No, go ahead.
Well, you know what? And if you don't mind, I'd like to segue here a little bit and just talk about that point that you just made. And one of the biggest things that I have conversations with, and I think where one of the biggest things that dealers and dealer management has to do is to look at these new employees and understand how, we got into it and how valuable this business to us, and relay that to these new people, because we get people and we hire them and we don't ask them, what is your plan? What's your future? We put them in changing oil somewhere. This person may have a desire to become a master tech, and we should be there to help that career along, not just to have labor. And I think that's one of the things that our industry really lacks is to train and monitor and mentor people in the business, especially in fixed ops, because again, there's a career there that if you're a technician and you look back at your family and what you can provide, there aren't a whole lot of jobs out there that can bring you the benefits, the money, the time. That there aren't a whole lot of jobs out there that I feel can be as fruitful as many in the automotive business. So I think that's a lesson you learned, I learned, and we have to share that message with new people as well as they come, into the industry. And that's why we have so much problems finding technicians and whatever, because they don't know. They don't understand what benefits there are to the car business and what opportunities there are in the car business. So we need to spread the word.
Do you think that's changing? Do you think that, pre versus post pandemic? I know it's a lot of people have gotten into selling cars during the pandemic, and now they're starting to realize it's not what it was a year and a half ago where they were making all the money. And I'm going to say this because you don't even need a college degree to go to work on the fixed operation side. If you have a desire and you have a mentor like a lot of us don't have, that you're speaking in reference to, having somebody take you under their wing. I know technicians that make over $200,000 a year.
Yeah, it's a good career.
Absolutely.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to say a few words about our new sponsor, WYNN'S. People who love cars love WYNN'S. With over 80 years of experience in innovation, WYNN'S leads the industry with product and system innovations that drive vehicle performance and longevity. WYNN'S leads through our innovation, our technology, and the products we create. We bring a legacy of superior performance that professional service providers trust through our heritage of innovative formulas and unparalleled service. It starts with fuel and oil, and it ends with excellence. Our dedication to research and development has led to more than 18,000 granted and pending patents across our company. And that drive continues today at WYNN'S. New vehicle technology like EV requires leading edge service and products. WYNN'S ensures our products meet EV requirements and still provide the same high level of protection that we've always offered. We meet tomorrow's needs by using our knowledge and technology today. WYNN'S brings innovative, technically advanced, professional-grade solutions to the world. Our legacy of innovation and performance is always copied, but never outrun. So thank you, WYNN'S, for sponsoring the What the FixedOPS podcast. And a lot of people stay in automotive. Once they get into the business, they're lifers.
Yep. Well, and Russell said it, you get oil in your veins. After a while, it's like, that's what you do. And the interesting thing about the auto business is every other type of business is all in part and parcel of the auto business. We have accounting, we have inventory, we have repairs, customer service, we have product sales, I even look at body shop as like a manufacturer. We do all those different pieces. So you have the ability to find that piece that is the best fit for you and where you can excel the best. And there's always someone looking for that. You can get on an airplane in Florida and fly to Texas, and if you're good at what you do and you're learning the car business, you probably could take an hour and find a job, or even a career. So the career's in the business. It's not necessarily in a specific dealership. So it's a commodity,
Yep.
So I'm proud to be in it, and I wish we had more transparency, or not even transparency so much, but I wish we had more things that we could share with the young generation and whatever. And they're getting a bad rap, where they don't want to work and they don't want to, and in any generation, there's a group of people that are that way.
Yeah.
But I think that they feel that the car business is just a stepping stone, and they don't get that, what could happen if you really excelled in that business.
Sure.
So I think hopefully you're spreading that word.
There's not many stories out there, right, of those success stories where people come in to the car industry, but they are out there. Russell and I have heard them from quite a few people. They just worked so hard to get where they are, and it really paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
they don't share it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bad rap that you're talking about the Gen Z, Gen Y, millennials, alphas coming up, etc. They want the same thing we all want. We just grew up in a different era where we're workhorses, right? But they want the same thing. They want to know they count, they matter, they make a difference, and they're a part of something. So I think it's imperative today that in hiring, the onboarding process is really important, where, there's your desk, there's the phone, and there's the cars. Go start selling.
Yeah.
I've heard and been a part of those types of things too. And they don't want that. And they don't necessarily want to climb the ladder and knock everybody down and make all the money. They want a little flexibility. They want time, and so I think we need to adapt. And I think some of it is happening that I see, but not everybody. But I think a lot of things, there is a paradigm shift, I think, in the last few years where things are changing. And I really believe managing is one thing. Leadership is an entirely different thing. Don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is we talk about millennials, and we've all had many for the last bunch of years, conversations about work ethic and what have you. Millennials are running the country now. They're buying all the cars. They're buying the houses. I think what you said was true. I think they want what we want. They just got a late start on it. like, because fortunately, our parents didn't have what we have. So
Nope.
we are able to give our children more. So it's not, they don't have, there's two things. They don't have that as much a desire because we've handed them so many things over the years. And the next one is, they don't believe, the many that I've talked to, they don't believe that they'll ever retire. So they believe that Social Security will be gone and pensions and whatever. So they're considering that they're going to work their whole life. So that's why that social aspect of it today is so important, because if I'm going to be working my whole life, I'm going to enjoy my relationships and my friends and the things that are important to me other than just making money. Because I saw my father work, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I don't want that. But then they get to be 30 and they have kids, and now they have to make money.
That's right.
That's the aha moment right there.
Yeah. And they know they're not going to retire at that point because they got their kids to pay for, and they got those coming up.
Yeah, look at college. Everybody seems to want to go to college. And, the average person comes out of college and they make $34,000.
That is so
shocking. Mean, you go into a car dealership, and I call it, it's a education. It's just not a formally accredited education, but you learn a skill or many skills, and you can take them anywhere in any industry. We're in the customer service industry, and I don't think that we promote customer service when it comes to getting a good survey. I don't know that we don't promote it from the heart, because people tell me, how do you fix CSI scores? You know what? You treat people like they want to be treated. You treat them like you want to be treated. There's no magical, you can play games, and you can play games with the surveys. And I always believe that one of the tests to see if your service department is making your customers happy is how many of them come back and have work done. They're voting with their money at that point, which gets us to fixed ops, because when they're all that happy with us, we want them to find a way to get to us, which is another issue in the service fixed ops industry. Is we spend thousands and thousands of dollars promoting sales, and we just figure that the operation in the back's just going to take care of itself. And the ones that realize it isn't are the ones that are really growing their business, and helps them to buy other dealerships, and helps them to make their customers happy, and that kind of thing. So the fixed ops is just so important that that's the foundation of the dealerships. And I think if you lose that, then you can't go with the ups and downs of the tide of the new vehicle manufacturers, or, I don't care if it's electric or if it's battery or if it's run by corn. There's a customer attached to that vehicle, and that's what we have to do, and our people have to be ready, willing, able, and trained to excel. And they'll be justly rewarded if they do.
Do you think that's changing, Mario? For example, when I started selling cars, I was, like I said, I had a wonderful mentor that took me under his wing. And one of the things he did that I executed the whole time I was selling cars until I worked my way up, and even then I did it as well in the management. But I enjoyed taking people and introducing them and showing them the service drive. I also would show up sometimes 45 minutes to an hour early to actually work the service drive a couple days a week. And it always accumulated into 2 or 3 opportunities that otherwise I wouldn't have had. And I remember one time I learned something because it is all about relationships, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there's this separateness between finance and aftermarket, fixed operations, or sales, etc. But we're all under one roof. We're one team, right? Together, we all achieve more. And I maybe I'm blinded, but I'm thinking that things are slowly starting to change, and we're understanding, because we need to stop the defection. Okay. And I learned this from this guy right here, what I'm going to tell you. And all you see me do presentations, I say it every single time. For every franchise dealer, there are 16 non-franchise entities, not my NADA, that are salivating and jockeying and lying in wait, because they know at the end of the warranty period that during that time they felt like they were held hostage. And there's a lot of defection points. And I learned this also from him. The two primary ones are oil changes and tires. And I see dealers now getting into the tire game in a big way, right?
Yeah. And listen, every 20 group that not only I have, but there are 24 people that do what I do with NADA. And we get together and we have like a 20 group consultant 20 group. And we talk about all these things. And obviously, FixedOPS is one of the most challenging for most dealers, and one of the biggest topics that we talk about. And the problem, a lot of the problem is that we have not educated the salespeople to the value. They go back and introduce service because it's a tick mark, and if they don't get that tick mark, they may not get a commission. They don't do it because they want to create a lifetime customer. And when I was coming up in the business and when I did sales and what have you, I would never let a customer make a service appointment. I always made the service appointment for them.
I love it.
So I'd say to the customer, listen, when you need service in your car, you call me. I'll walk back and make sure that they get your appointment, and I will meet you when you come in so I can make sure that we walk your car through. And
Wow.
I see now, I was recently in a dealership, and a customer came walking through and happened to have out-of-state tags or something. They came to pick up tags. And this salesman walked up to him and said, sir, can I help you? He goes, yeah, I'm here to pick up my tags. He goes, well, who's your salesman? And this customer said, you. So you tell me, I mean, that's the follow-up, and that's the engagement you see here. And, when I wrote service, I never had to even give estimates. I mean, people would get that trust. And we built that, and you build it by being honest.
Right.
You're truthful. You tell them, you tell them what they need, whether, listen, I can't, I'm not telling you that you have to spend money with my dealership. I just want you to know that these are the issues with your vehicle, and we're here to help you if you need help. And that's why I think your videos are so strong, in that people don't understand how to even explain a lot of these repairs today. We used to say all of our advisors, we wanted to hire ex-techs for advisors. We wanted them to have that, that experience where they knew how to fix cars.
Right.
And what we found out, that they were the worst service advisors.
Absolutely the worst.
Because all they want, they're going to diagnose your problem for you and tell you how smart they are.
Yep.
And they're not salespeople. And, the thing is I'll go against the grain. We all say advisors are salespeople. I agree with that to the degree that they're telling you that we can they're selling our service. We're not selling things they don't need. We're selling them things that they need, and hopefully we can sell them on us and our dealership that they'll do them with us. But the problems with the cars and what have you are the problems with the cars. And the biggest thing we do wrong is we pre-qualify in the service department. We don't even tell them everything they need. But we tell everybody we did a safety inspection. So now we're opening up the liability.
Yep.
They're not feeling comfortable because they went out and something else happened to their car, and they'll tell 100 people that they should have told me that at the dealership.
Yep.
So we got a lot of work to do.
We do.
We've come a long way, but we got a lot of work to do.
We do. It still boils down to relationships. If they like you, they trust you, they believe you, they buy from you. So let's say you're an advisor at a Nissan store. Nationally, there's 10,000 Nissan centers coming in a day for service. Okay. Major repairs are a lot more expensive than recommended maintenance. And it's almost like, and I really do believe more than ever today, because of all the apps and exposure that people have, transparency from the time they drive through the threshold of the service drive, right? The condition of their car, the tires. I think those are all, traction, UVI, a lot of tools. Like I believe in REPAIRPAL for price transparency, et cetera. You may not be the highest, lowest, but you're average. And also the video MPIs, if they find something, I mean, that's very believable, right? Because we've tarnished ourselves. We've done it to ourselves over the last 20 or 30 years.
Oh yeah. And it's really, really hard to get out of that stigma. Because the parents of the parents all have a story. Yep. Yeah. When I went in and they did this to me, or they told me I needed this. So everybody's got a story. And I think that's another reason why third party relationships are so important, in that, like, for example, they use Kelley Blue Book as an appraisal tool to try to separate their opinion from somebody outside the store. And I think that that's one of the things that your videos and all do, is that I'm not telling you this, I'm telling you this is your problem, but here's something that maybe explains it a little bit better and gives you a better idea. Because I think people should be using FixedOPS in the store with the customer. I don't think they should just be sending them out. I think that your explanations are a lot better, and your videos tell a lot more about the repair than, hey, listen, your CV boots are ripped. So they don't know what a CV boot is.
Well, Mario, they don't even know the difference between, I use this a lot of times too, conventional, a semi-synthetic, or a full synthetic oil change.
Oil, yeah.
We take for granted that they see $89 or $99, and then they see a $29 at Pep Boys, and they think it's the same thing. Everybody wants videos today, particularly post-pandemic, more than any other time in history. And they're coming to your website and they're looking for information. For heaven's sakes, how many of you actually click through your website?
Right.
How many of you try to even schedule service? I mean, it is.
Well, it's funny you say that, because one of the things I do in my groups, and I would ask anybody that's watching this video, especially if you're at a dealership, get your cell phone and try to make a service appointment. Mm-hmm. And after 2 minutes, just shut it down, because it didn't happen. And I do that in my 20 groups all the time. And they go, wow, what's wrong? Because they don't pay attention. They don't make sure that all these things are flowing. So that's why there's such a low take rate on online appointments. Yeah. That should be our number one source of service appointments, but it's way far from that. The last time I looked, it wasn't even at 20%.
I'm wondering
it's over that for us.
Yeah, I wonder if you
customers.
Exactly. Yeah. I wonder if you could validate something for me, because I use this as a talking point, and I asked, and I say demographically may be different, Mr. Customer, where you're at, but the drop-off rate or the defection rate of people that attempting to schedule service is like 77% nationally. Demographically, may be higher. But these are people that either high funnel or mid funnel shoppers are looking for information, and they attempt to maybe schedule service, but it takes so darn long. And
well, let me tell you something. Here's one even on top of that. Forget the schedule of service. They have done studies, and we have data. We have mega data for just about everything at NADA, as you know. But when they studied phone calls, and they said approximately 68% of the phone calls go unanswered. So,
I'm going to write that
either-
down. Is that an NADA thing?
well, it's a NADA, that we've taken other data and
Sure.
other, people that have done it. We don't do surveys ourselves. We just, we look at the person that's doing the survey and make sure they're credible. I think this was a Cox survey actually, but the thing that's incredible is the people are calling us. And today with the use of a cell phone, 68% of the people plus are doing all their business, especially with the car dealer, on a cell phone. Mm-hmm. So you got to look where the buttons are. You got to be able to click the call. You got to be able to click on something with your thumb that will give you the information you need. But what happens is they call in and either they're on hold and they hang up, or all of a sudden they ask for somebody and they ask for service and they get the office and they get the parts department. And I call dealers all the time, and I have dealers telling me, how can I improve my business, especially FixedOPS? And I say, answer the phone.
Hold on. That's a revelation, Mario.
We're spending all this money to get them to realize we're there. And
we don't want to talk to them. Yeah, we don't want to talk to them. Yeah.
And the other thing is, it's not so much we don't want to talk to them, but we load so much on those service advisors. And I do some studies, and I still do them in the dealers or in 20 groups, where I'll say, okay, let's list everything a service advisor does. And we list all the things. They answer the phone, they make the appointments, they write up the service, they check on the parts, they're dispatching many times, whatever it is, we list it all. Calling special order parts, missed appointments, all this stuff. And then I say, okay, let's put a time that you think, as Mr. Dealer, that you think they're spending or should spend doing all these things. So when you do it and then you add it up, they have to work like 17 hours a day to get done what we ask them to get done. So the thing about new services and new third parties and we're there and you're there to make their life easier and to be more consistent with how they handle their customer.
Yes, sir.
Because you talk about a fluid service like WYNN'S. WYNN'S is a great product, and a lot of dealers are very profitable with WYNN'S. I used them for many, many years. I remember the rings and the cans and all that kind of stuff back.
Hold on, I got to let everybody know we did not pay you to say that.
I know. Well,
okay,
but they go back a long, long way.
Yeah.
But what my point though is that you could have 4 advisors, and they're going to say maybe 4 different things about one operation. Many times they'll have 4 different prices in the same dealership. I say it all the time. It's crazy. So why not have a universal tool to explain these things? And if nothing else, let them look at it and learn. So it's very aggravating to the customer, especially when, they don't know what the CD boot is, but if they can see a little video that shows this rip and the grease dropping and it's attached to the wheel, and we're not trying to do fear tactics. We're just looking at education. 80% of the people will buy something if you walk them out to the car and show them. The next best thing is your MPI. And I'm on my bandwagon here. So let's look at a dealership operation, right? So what do? They get the lowest qualified, least experienced technicians to work in the quick lane. They find the least experienced advisor to put in the quick lane to write up the customers, and they do more customer repairs than the service department is. So we're giving 40% of our customers to people that don't know what they're doing, basically. And we say, well, they do an MPI. Well, they don't do an MPI. They don't.
No.
And I know they don't do it. Or they may think they do it, but my point is that, as a dealer, I think we're a little backwards. We should be if we got the bulk of our customers
Right
doing
on,
something,
Mario.
right? They should be having their best people talk to the most customers. I think it just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So my daughter-in-law had her oil changed and left there, and it was about an hour later, her car seized in the middle of the freeway. They forgot to put the drain plug in.
Oh yeah.
Cost them $15,000 for a new engine.
Unfortunately, I've heard that many times over the years. Or they put the drain plug in and they forgot to put the oil in.
My God. I mean, hello.
I mean, listen, man, they were getting out at 5, so they're cleaning up at 4:30. And if you're that last one, shame on you.
Yeah.
But yeah. And again, I think it all comes down to training. I think it all comes down to hiring. If you're going to hire a oil change person, you need to have a path for them. When you hire them, you say, what are you looking for? Is this your job for the summer? Until you go back to, if that's what you want, okay, I know what I'm dealing with. If I can use this person to do ABC, fine. But if you want to make a career, let me tell you how this works. And we'll set you up a career path. And if you do this, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. And you'll find that, they want to expand. They want to do good. They don't want to, they don't want to not perform well. The other ones don't care. It's just, I'm putting in my time and okay, the engine blew up. So what? I'm going out and have a cold beer. I don't care because their insurance paid for it. It's just a different mentality. And I think we as dealers need to pay more attention to that. And because that's our future, that's the car business and the dealer's future. So, but that's my bandwagon. I don't think we give enough training, or like you said, customer comes in. I was at a dealership. I'm at dealerships all the time. But where the dealer's walking me around and somebody goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And he goes, "Good, good. I'm doing good." And I said, "Who's he?" He goes, "I don't know. I've seen him around here. He's been working here for, I don't know. How long has he been working here, Bill?" Probably about a year. Now, then that tells you something, doesn't it?
They don't
Those
care.
are the things. Those are things that I think, we get down to the nuts and bolts of things, but you started off by saying there's a backstory or there's a personal piece of this. And I know one thing, people die for the flag.
Amen.
And it's all because of how they feel about it. They'll run up the hill. But if the person that says, listen, I'm only going to make 39 hours because I don't want to give any more money to Uncle Sam because they take too much taxes out. And believe me, I don't know if you've heard that, Russ, but that's, we say, how do you motivate techs? And a lot of people are saying money doesn't do it. Mm-hmm. They want time off. They want ABC. So you got to find out what ABC is and use that as motivation. But we could go all the way down that path for another couple of hours if you want.
Well, I have a question I want to ask you, Mario, and it'll pivot you guys a little bit, but I'm curious as to NADA 2024. Do you know of any common themes or any sort of topics that are sort of the focus of next year's NADA?
Well, obviously, the focus is more on technology, and tools and analytics that help the dealer figure out ROIs that we could never do before. How to make the dealers more, not necessarily more profitable, which is what the end result is, but how do we make them more efficient? How do we make our techs more proficient? So our long-term goal and short-term goal is always that to assist the dealer in helping them grow their operations. That's why most of our dealers are 2% higher in 20 groups as net to sales than other dealers that are not in 20 groups. And that says something for 20 groups, but it also says something for the dealer, because that dealer's ready to invest the time and the money to learn and to get better. And I think that, our goal is always the same when it comes to that. And I think that the other side of that is watching out for government and for issues that they just write up and put it out there. And just like this safeguard rules and some other rules that the FTC has put in. And the interesting thing about the FTC, I don't know if you know this, Russ, but this was really mind blowing to me. But the FTC consists of 5 people, 3 people in the prevailing party and 2 people in the other party.
Yeah.
So we had 5 people. We had 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans at this time. Well, the 2 Democrats, and I don't know if they've been replaced, but they left. So we have 3 Democrats, the Republicans left. That's the FTC. And the head of the FTC is a young woman who rents an apartment and never bought a car. Think about that for a second.
I don't even know where to go with that one.
So disconnected.
My point is, there's a whole lot of people that are making rules and making decisions, and they don't have any knowledge to go by. It's just whatever they feel. So you need to have organizations like NADA and whatever to educate the bodies that vote on this stuff. And that's so important today, because there's laws and rules and whatever that are thrown at us nationally, federally, all the time. And if we're not there to backstop them, dealers could get themselves caught up and as an industry and have some real problems. Yeah. So that's the other focus for NADA as far as dealer operations are concerned.
We are passionate about helping consumers find a great, trusted place to get their car fixed. We have 4 million uniques who come to our website each month for car repair information, and we help them find our REPAIRPAL certified locations. We also have amazing partners like USAA that offer our REPAIRPAL certified network to their customers and members. So how are we going to help dealers? Well, dealers sell 100% of the cars, but over time, after the warranty expires, the repairs go up and the revenue potential goes up. But people keep leaving the dealer over time after the warranty. By years 10 or 12, only about 20% of people are still servicing at the dealer. Why is that? There's one dominant reason, and that is price perception. And being REPAIRPAL certified helps you overcome the primary price perception problem. So come let us show you how REPAIRPAL can help you too.
Good.
Thank goodness. I'm afraid a lot of branches of government are like that. It's very disconnected. Yeah. They're making.
Well, you would think FTC is some big mega, like Congress, No. And then you find out it's like, how do they make these decisions? It's crazy. But anyway, we have to guard our industry and we have to guard our dealers. And that's what we do in NADA. Look at the franchise system. There's a lot going on with the franchise system, a lot going on with Buick, and other Ford, obviously, with the EV thoughts that they have. And now they're Ford and GM are pairing up with Tesla for the charging stations and whatever. It's a changing world right now, and it's either you get out in front of it or you're going to fall behind. Right. And that's the name of it. You gotta be aggressive, and you gotta listen. We can't learn everything and change everything in a dealership. we need to learn what we need and to have more consultants, if you will, like that focus on that issue and help us fix it rather than us recreating the wheel. We're better off buying the wheel and using it. And that's why services like your own are so important.
Thank you very much. Sherry, do you have another question?
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
We're cutting it short on time. Let's see. I guess a good question would be, from a vendor perspective, the NADA is very much about getting in front of new faces and seeing what other companies are up to. But what do you look forward to at NADA? What are some of the things that maybe people don't know about, that maybe they'll miss or they overlook? Common things like that.
Well, one of the big benefits of NADA convention to me is all the workshops that we do. Yeah. There's all these people out on the floor that, have products and services that they want to offer to dealers. But dealers are not as educated many times as they should be on what they should even be looking for.
Right.
Like they change CRMs like they change their socks sometimes.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
And the problem is that they just haven't taken the time to learn what that product will do and to utilize it to its biggest advantage.
Yep.
So what happens is in NADA, our workshops are all just like a 20 group where these people come in and they're not pitching their products. They're saying, this is what you need to do to retain your customers. However, whatever tools you use to do it, these are the things, this is how you measure it, and these are the results that you should have. Because I believe you can't manage what you can't measure.
That's right.
So,
Amen.
I think that what happens with those, and not only the workshops, but they're all recorded. So if you can't go to them all, they're all in the NADA website. So there's a lot of educational benefits to the NADA, show that if dealers would utilize it, I think that would be that they reap the benefits of it if they would utilize it.
As you know, we were honored, Cherry and I, to do 3 breakout or workshops at the 2023 in Dallas. It was very exciting. It was very humble experience for us, and to be part of such a large organization. I don't know in the end how many people were there, somewhere between 25 and 30,000 people overall at the whole convention. And I thought Dallas did a really good job, and it's been forever since they had it in Dallas. Of course, Vegas is a default, so that's the next one coming up. And I'm excited about that too. You're actively involved in that as well, aren't you?
Well, I was fortunate or unfortunate enough, however you want to say, to be one of the screeners, so to speak. So what happens is we get hundreds, if not thousands, of requests from businesses for them to speak or do a workshop or whatever. And so we have a committee, of which I was one, that we view the 1 minute or 2 minute presentations that the dealers would see, so that you guys put one in as well, and we view those and say, do I think that this will be beneficial to the dealer? Will they learn something from it, or do I think they're trying to pitch it? And in which case we don't invite them. And is the topic timely? Is it something that's up and coming? And those are kind of the 3 basic criteria that we look at. And so we vet every one of the people that come, and there's a limited number of those, obviously, that are able to speak and give workshops, and they've all gone through this process. So kudos to you guys for being able to do it. So, there was a lot of people that didn't make the cut. So you should be very proud of yourself.
Yeah, we are. And do you guys Do you tend to have some of the same speakers every year on maybe not the same topics, but similar topics? Or do you try to bring a brand new bus full of speakers in every year?
Spread the love around a little bit.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, we're not looking at the speaker as much as we're looking at the content. So if there's a person that's been speaking for years and years and years, and they keep using the same pitch, for example, or the same message, and that message is kind of like a little old.
Yep.
We're not gonna just say you spoke there before. They have to earn it every year. So they have to come up with what's new. And, we do have a lot of the speakers that are the same, but that's because they are keeping up with the times, and they're moving with development, and they're changing, and they're ahead leaders in the market in those cases. So yeah, I think it's not the speaker, it's the content. And obviously the presentation has something to do with it. Because you want to, you want to have something that's going to hold their attention for 45 minutes. So the presentation may have some bearing on it, but it's more the content and what did I take? What's in it? What did I take away? What did my dealer take away? So yeah,
good.
That's how we do that.
Excellent. An hour has just flown by.
Wow.
And I know, right? And I really wanted to go down a few more wormholes, but unfortunately we don't have time, and out of respect for your time as well, because of the time slotted. Charity, let's what do we normally ask at the end? I forgot.
Well, Mario, why don't you take a few minutes and whatever, if you'd like to share how people get a hold of you, or if you have anything that maybe we missed about NADA you'd like to say, or you have a few minutes to have the floor.
As far as NADA is concerned, I think the biggest takeaway is that we work for you. We work for the dealer. We are not a for-profit organization. Everything we do, and everything we do that we could call profitable, if you will, that would go back into serving our dealers. We're right on the cutting edge. We've got some really state-of-the-art programs for analytics from service, parts, sales, and we know how to measure all these things, and we're constantly changing and updating our composites and all the tools that we use to help the dealers navigate the technology going forward. So you're investing in yourself and your dealership when you're a member, and I think my biggest thing for all the listeners would be, there are so many things on that website that you could benefit from, training, seminars, like I said, looking at the workshops. We have career paths where you could you have a parts guy that wants to become a parts manager, take these courses. They get certified, in that course. And we have many, many, many training opportunities. We have special studies, and we have all kinds of things that they're available to you, whoever's a member with NADA. And I would encourage everybody we have subscription services where you pay one price for a dealership, and you can send as many people as you want to as many of the training sessions as you want for a very, very reasonable price. And training is the key, in my opinion, to success and future growth. So I think my point is, use NADA. For those of you that are new car dealers, we're there for you. And if I can help in any way, me and all the staff at NADA are ready, willing, and able to help. So that's what we do.
Well, you
Thank
can
you, Mario.
certainly, yeah, thank you very much. You can certainly find him on LinkedIn. And listen, Charity, thank you. Mario, thank you. Honored and blessing to have you on our show today. Learned a lot of great stuff. And listen, for all of you, this is a wrap. Another WTF, and that's What the FixedOPS, very successful one. This guy is on the cutting edge. And most of you know who NADA is. But, you know, one thing I always hear or don't hear about NADA is they're not biased. They're neutral. Okay. And he just told you the reasons why. If you want a career path, you're going to be able to find it. And there's so many different things you can be involved with. So this episode, you're going to be notified well in advance when this is coming out. We implore you to like us, like Mario, love Mario, NADA, Charity, myself, whatever. We appreciate all the feedback, all the support, all the likes, the loves, and the shares. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mario.
Thank you.
Thank you.